Great morning, business owners and managers, and welcome to another episode of CX in the Morning, Customer Experience in the Morning. I am your gracious host, Mr. Wes Walters, and on every single CX in the Morning, I bless you with customer service tips, customer experience tricks, and I leave you with gems. And by gems, I mean actionable takeaways that you can implement at the speed of now. I'm talking about immediately after this broadcast. You'll be able to implement what you've learned with your team, making your team and your business better. Happy Wednesday, happy Hump Day Wednesday. Today is Wednesday. We're split in the week right down the middle. So you should be halfway with completion of your goals. If you are not, then you are going to have to double up and work extra harder. Yeah, that's the way it works. Let's be sure that we are sharing this with the right people. See what's going on here. Let's be sure that we're sharing this with the family. All right, let's go ahead and get that shared and post that. There we go. So how has everyone's week been thus far? Happy Black History Month as always. This is the second week of Black History Month. So if you were here last week, we covered the ambient customer experience, the ambient CX. And last week, we talked about the soundtrack of your business, how important music is to your business and how it works on the subconscious level. So moving on to the other sense of the four senses, we're going to talk about sight, vision. Now, sight is going to be a two-part series. So we're going to do sight today and next Wednesday. It was just too much information to put into 1 hour. And so we're going to separate it into the psychology of color today. And next Wednesday, we're going to talk about themes of the establishment. All right. So today, let's just jump right in. If you are on IG you want to definitely go over to Facebook or YouTube because I'm going to be sharing my screen. And let's jump right into it. Let's jump right into it. Start to share. Share screen. Boom, boom, boom. And we're off. And the race is off. All right. The first color on the list is the color of blue. Now, in the early 80s, IBM, of course, had their logo. And it's so funny. After IBM branded this blue, it became IBM Blue. I mean, it was synonymous with IBM. So this is called IBM Blue. And when I was looking into getting the color for my brand, I chose IBM Blue. Because why? Why did I choose blue? Because blue represents trustworthiness. It represents dependability. IBM was known for dependable PCs. So I was like, hey, that's what I want people to think about when they see my logo. So people would always ask me, hey, is blue your favorite color? Blue is by far not my favorite color. My favorite color is red, but I was willing to put my personal biases to the side and be like, what does blue mean to other people? And blue means trustworthy. Blue means dependability. And if I'm going to be teaching individuals the importance of customer experience and how it affects their bottom line, I need to be trustworthy and dependable. Hence why the logo is blue. Of course, we can all recognize this small startup company, not too big of a company. Hey, I am King. What's going on, man? Happy New Year, man. I haven't seen you in forever. Business Queen Ben's joined. You guys want to go over to YouTube or go over to Facebook at Wes Walters because I'm sharing my screen. So you cannot see my screen. So you want to go over to YouTube or Facebook and watch it at Wes Walters on YouTube and Facebook because you cannot see my screen. Now, if you just want to see my handsome face, you're fine to stay here. But the action is in Facebook and on YouTube. Man, happy New Year, man. Happy Black History Month. Happy Kwanzaa. I haven't seen you in forever, man. But anyway, go to YouTube at Wes Walters or on Facebook at Wes Walters if you want to see the screen. All right, so continuing with blue, of course, we have this small little startup company called Facebook. And Facebook, of course, knew and understood the importance of what blue represented. That's why they chose to have their logo blue as well. Moving along, next on the list is the color yellow. Yellow. What does yellow represent, you might ask, Wes? Well, yellow often represents sunshine. Obviously, it's like the sun. So yellow has two kind of meanings. It all depends on how you want to use it. Now, yellow because of the sun, we always talk about have a bright morning. Think about the sun. You're starting your day. Sun is a sign of hope. After a dark, rainy, cloudy day, the sun is a sign of new opportunities. The sun is a sign of, no matter how dark and gloomy the night was, the sun is like, there is hope of a better future. So yellow represents bright. Look at Cheerios. Cheerios is like, look, man, this is a optimistic breakfast. It's gonna give you the zeal that you need to start your day. Hence why their logo is yellow. Now, IKEA was so gangster with it. IKEA understood the color of yellow. And what do? They use yellow. Hey, new beginnings, new opportunities, being optimistic. And they use IBM Blue. So IKEA did a lot of research and spend a lot of time in R&D and be like, what do colors represent? And what do we want people to feel when they're shopping in our store? We want them to feel optimistic because they are going to be very pessimistic when they go home and they have to build a desk that have 10,000 pieces. So IKEA is pretty smart. They're like, look, we want to get your spirit up early because when you get home and you're going to realize that you're going to need a doctorate degree in assembly or in construction to assemble this desk, we want you to leave the store feeling happy because once you get home and you unpack, when you go to IKEA, right? You might buy a bookshelf. The bookshelf is when it's packaged, it's about this big. True story. I'm not making this up. True story. This bookshelf that I bought from IKEA, when I picked it up, I walked out the store like this. They have this amazing new technology that it's Lego technology merged with magic, right? Where they're able to turn this bookshelf into the size of this. It's for you guys who are under 35, you wouldn't know what the heck I'm talking about. But people over 35 know about it's Honey, I Shrunk the Kids technology. True story. So if you go to IKEA and you purchase a bookshelf that size, you guys can't see it over here, but there's a bookshelf over here. If you buy a bookshelf that size, it's going to come in a package this big. True story. I wish I was making this stuff up because IKEA was able to morph the technology of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids with magic, right? So IKEA was smart enough to know, like, we're going to make you feel optimistic. That's why they have the color yellow, like new sunshine. We're going to make you feel optimistic because when you get home and you realize you need a master's degree in construction, you're going to be very disappointed. Anyway, so IKEA has yellow as well as IBM Blue. So yellow represent optimistic, hey, new sunshine and the stability and trustworthiness of blue. Hence, IKEA did a real good job in R&D and choosing and selecting the colors yellow and blue. Let's keep it moving. Purple. This goes without saying anything. Purple represents royalty. Hence why the great Prince had his logo in royal purple. Royal purple represents royalty, regalness. This slide by itself, no other logos, just the artist, this Prince. Royalty. Kings and queens would all often have some of their best garments in royal purple because they knew what it represented. Gray. What does gray represent and how does it affect the customer experience? Gray represents technology. Gray represents technology. So you'll see a lot of companies. There's another small startup company that a lot of um, their devices are in gray, because gray represents technology. Gray represents technology. Gray represents modern. Gray represents a lot of the automotive companies use gray because they know it represents modern. The new version is normally going to be in gray, and it represents high technology. That's what gray represents. And again, it is important that you understand the definition and the meaning of these colors so that you too can implement these in your logo or throughout your store if you have a brick and mortar. Let's keep it moving. What's next on the list? Orange. Orange. What does orange represent? Orange. Listen, here it is. When I was doing research, so my first company, I had a animation company. I had I used to do explainer videos, because I have a video background. And my first company's logo was orange, because in doing the research, I found out that, so my favorite color was red, and I didn't want when we get to the definite, what red represents, you're going to understand. Red is like in your face, hot. I didn't want that. But in doing the research, orange gives you the same effect of red, but kind of like in a stealth mode. So orange is like red without being all flamboyant. So if you want to have the same effect of red without being, look at me, orange is the next best thing. Now, of course, in this country, I'm not sure where you're watching it from. A lot of people are in the UK and Australia. Ironically, I have a lot of viewers in Australia, right? So I'm only speaking about America. In America, orange, normally you see a lot of orange in America in autumn, in the fall, because and you see a lot of pumpkins and the leaves turn orange. So in this country, I'm not sure what it's like in your country, in Australia or in the UK, but in America, orange, you see a lot of orange in the fall and in the autumn time. So again, orange gives you the same feeling of red without the ta-da, look at me. Let's keep it. So companies that utilize orange, of course, the magnificent Home Depot and Harley Davidson. Anyone who knows anyone who has a Harley owners are loyal like no other loyal. They're like loyal to the queen bee loyal. Anyone you know who has a Harley, please, it's a cult. And I say that intentionally. If someone owns a Harley, they are in a cult. It's a tribe of brotherhood. It's almost like, if you know anyone who's served in the military, yes, you have the Marines, and then you have Harley Davidson owners. That's the way it works. It's you know what? I think it's Harley Davidson owners, the Navy SEALs, then the Marines. That's the order of command when it comes to loyalty. Harley owners, Navy SEALs, and Marines. That's the way it works in regards to customer loyalty, brand loyalty, because I think orange has a little effect on that. You think? Let's keep it moving. The color of black. What does black represent? Black symbolizes power. Black symbolizes stability. Hence the black blazer ever so often. Black symbolizes power, distinction. So one of the most, in America, again, the most famous and go-to luxury car in America. And like, almost like there was a time where 74% of all limousines were Lincoln Town Cars. Little known fact, there was a time in history, I think it was in the early 90s, late 80s, where 74% of all limousines were Lincoln Town Cars. Ford was just dominating the market. Now, in modern days, you can get pretty much just about any car in a limousine. You can get Hummers, you can get Lamborghini limousines. But in America, Ford had dominated that market where 74% of all the limousines were Lincoln Town Cars, because the black, and not purple or any other color, black Lincoln Town Cars. I want to be very clear. Black Lincoln Town Cars, because of what the Lincoln Town Cars, what black represented. Again, black represented elegance. Black represented power. It was a symbol, a status symbol. And hence why all of the limousines were black. So, you know, when you pulled up in a Lincoln Town Car, you know, you meant business. All right, let's keep it moving. We're talking about the psychology of color. If you were just tuning in, of course, other companies that utilize black, we have, of course, the Swoosh, the Nike, Amazon, and Verizon. All right, green. In the psychology of color, green and what green represents. Green represents nature. When you see the color green, it represents nature because green is the most common color that you see in nature. And of course, green represents, in this country, green normally represents abundance or money, currency flowing. So again, think about these things. Think about these colors when you're designing your logo or when you're creating the theme for your establishment. Think about how the psychology of color and how it works. Again, these things work on a subconscious level. This is the power of the four senses. That's why each sense I'm giving it its own show, because it's too much information to just put into one show. Each of these senses, when we're talking about the ambient experience for customer experience, the ambience, meaning it's in the background, you're not even paying. It's like elevator music. It's there, but it's not there. So these things are happening on a subconscious level where the customer or the consumer is not even aware that it's happening. So when someone walks into your establishment and they see green, they think of Mother Earth, save the planet, green, nature. How do you feel when you think about nature, Mother Earth? You feel relaxed. You think about sitting in a park with freshly manicured grass, birds chirping, trees with chlorophyll, beautiful trees giving you oxygen, you giving them carbon dioxide. It's a perfect balance. Everybody wins. And that's the feeling Starbucks and Whole Food want you to have when you see their logo. And again, none of this stuff is by accident. I want to be very clear. All of these major brands, none of this stuff is by accident. This is by design. It's a lot of research and development, especially with this little small company, a lot of research and development that went in to be sure that these companies resonate with their customers and that they get the most bang for their buck on a subconscious level. So they're working magic in you and you're not even aware of it. That's the power of the psychology of color. Let's keep it moving. What comes after green? My favorite color, my friend, red. Now, again, this, if left up to my own devices, my logo would have been red, but it's not red. Why red? What does red represent? Red is the look at me. Look at me. When the dime walks in the gala in a red dress, it's all eyes on me in my Machiavelli voice. All eyes on me. Yes, red lipstick. What does red lipstick represent? Hot, exotic. Look at me. So red is to capture attention. Here's a little known fact too. I want you to look at all of these fast food. These are the most, how did I forget Chick-fil-A? Oh my goodness. Charge it to my heart, charge it to my mind, not my heart. Chick-fil-A is supposed to be on here because Chick-fil-A by far, pound for pound, has the best customer service when it comes to fast food restaurant. Forgive me for not having Chick-fil-A. If my kids see this, they're gonna kill me. Chick-fil-A needs to be added to this slide. But anyway, all of these logos, including Chick-fil-A, share one color, red. Now, most of them, the real creative ones, share red and yellow. We're going to get to yellow. We're going to get to McDonald's and Burger King in a second. But red, because here's a little known fact. Red is an energy color, and it also increases appetite. True story. Again, a lot of research and development went into selecting these. Ironically, these top performing fast foods did not accidentally all have red in the logo. No. This is by design. Like, I'm literally the base color, the background, the color that you're going to see most of, red. Wendy's background, red. Her hair is red. McDonald's, solid red in the background. Now, if you were paying attention, McDonald's and Burger King are so gangster with it, they actually have yellow as well. So the golden arches are, hey, get your attention, opportunity, optimistic. So the golden arches, what you remember against that red background is, hey, opportunity, optimistic. You're going to feel better after having these, what is it, hotcakes? Yeah, hotcakes. You're going to feel better after having this Big Mac. You're going to feel better after having this quarter pound. Do they still have a quarter pounder? Well, when I was growing up, they had quarter pounders. You're going to feel better after having, what other burgers do McDonald's have? Big Macs, quarter pounders. You're going to feel better after having this apple pie. I love McDonald's apple pies. When I'm having, on days when I'm eating sugar, there is nothing like a McDonald's apple pie. I'm talking about the old ones, though, the fried ones. The yellow golden arches, you're going to feel better when you have these fries. You might not be healthier. You might die, but you're going to feel better. Short term, right? Burger King as well. That yellow, again, you see the red color. Hey, grab your attention, stimulates your appetite, makes you hungry. And the yellow is, hey, come on over. It's warm inside if it's cold, if it's winter, or it's cool inside if it's hot outside and it's summer. And of course, Burger King went above and beyond. They incorporated hungry red, optimistic yellow, and trustworthy and stability blue. So Burger King went above and beyond. They incorporated all three: red, yellow, and IBM Blue. Research and development. Do you think this is by accident or this is by design? KFC as well. Hot red, IBM Blue. We see these constantly being added. Hey, I am Vines. You are watching on Instagram, so you want to go to YouTube or Facebook at Wes Walter. Same name on YouTube or Facebook, because I'm sharing my screen. And if you want to see the screen, you want to go over to YouTube or on Facebook. There you go. That was quick. Man, she got the message quickly. All right, let's keep it moving. The next color, white. What does white represent? White represents, in some, now again, let's take your racial caps off. We're not talking about race here. We're talking about just color, because technically you're not black. You're African, right? So when we talk about color, and I don't want to be like, oh, does white represent purity and what does black represent? None of that nonsense. No, we're not talking about race here. We're just talking about colors for products. So white represents purity. When you see hospitals, most of the nurses or the dentists, they're always in white because they want you to feel. If you look at the hospital's floors, the tiles, white, clean. You want it to represent healthy and cleanliness. Also, white represents new technology. Hence why Apple, when they first released their AirPods, they were all in white. All in white. Remember the first iPods? My kids are like, what's an iPod, right? But the iPod adverts is base color, a silhouette of the person holding the device, and the new technology in white. This was not by accident. This was by design. Base color, they have yellow, blue. These came in just about every other color of the spectrum. The silhouette of the human being. But what they want you to look at is the new technology in white. This is what's going to get your attention. And they did such a great job with the contrast, because no other color contrasts better than black, of course, than white. And no other color contrasts with white than black. So great job with that, Apple. Great job with that. Let's keep it moving. Brown. What does brown represent? Brown represents seriousness and down to earth. And it also represents stability. Hey, think of Mother Earth again. What color is the soil? Brown. If the earth was not stable, if this was not fertile ground, we could not have the trees. So company like UPS utilizes brown as their color, and it works on a subconscious level. You know that your packages are being delivered. We're taking delivering your packages seriously, and it also represents stability. That hey, your packages are going to get to you on the time or before that we committed to getting your packages to you. So again, these things happen on a subconscious level. You're not thinking about it like, should I go with FedEx or go to UPS? On a subconscious level. And most of the time, you don't get to choose. Most of the time, if you order something, the company chooses who sends your package. Some companies have accounts with UPS and FedEx, and some just utilize the contract with FedEx and the contract at UPS. So most of the time, you don't choose. But sometimes when you're mailing something on a subconscious level, yes, the store that's closest to your house helps as well. But on a subconscious level, again, it happens without you even knowing it. It happens without you even knowing it. You think about stability on a subconscious level. So the conscious mind is not aware of it. You're not thinking like, man, purple, I think FedEx is purple and orange right now, purple and something else. But you think, okay, stability. You think stability. Do I want my package to get there on time? Is the plane going to arrive on time? Is the ground transport going to get there on time? Is the package going to be undamaged when it gets there? Again, all of these things happen on a subconscious level. And that concludes this episode of CX in the Morning, Customer Experience in the Morning. Again, if you're just tuning in, we were covering the psychology of color and how color affects the customer experience. So the psychology of color is under the umbrella of the ambient customer experience, the ambient CX. So these things that are happening without you even knowing that they're happening on a subconscious level. So next week, what are we going to be talking about next Wednesday? So next week is going to be part 2 of color, of sight. We're talking about the sense of sight. So next week, we're going to talk about themes and how important themes are for your establishment if you have a brick and mortar. All right. This is your main guy, Mr. Wes Walters. And thank you for tuning in. Take these gems and apply them. Don't just watch. Don't waste 30 minutes just watching and doing nothing. Take these gems, implement these gems into your business, making your business and your team better. I love you guys, and I see you guys next Wednesday. Peace.